Good afternoon. Today I'm going to brief about an arrest that was just made by the Metropolitan Police Department in conjunction with several other agencies and the help of and dedication of two detectives that have been dedicated to this case for over a decade. On October 29, 2011, in the 3000 block of Stanton Road Southeast in the early morning hours, a stranger entered a ground floor apartment and sexually assaulted an 11-year-old child. That case was assigned at the time to Detective Scott Dowling, who stands with me here today. He conducted a complete investigation at the time until its entirety, and during that investigation, we were able to obtain a male DNA profile as part of the investigation. That case, however, went cold, and we were not able to develop a suspect. That case was assigned to the Metropolitan Police Department's Cold Case Sexual Assault Unit, where it has been for the last 10 years, over the last decade, continually being investigated. Detective Dowling moved on in the department. He is now a lieutenant assigned to the Criminal Investigations Division. During that time, he's been in constant contact with the Sexual Assault Cold Case Unit, specifically Detective Alex P. McBean. Detective McBean was aware of this case. Over the decade, constantly talked to the lieutenant about this specific case and continued to investigate it. Working with the United States Attorney's Office, Detective McBean reevaluated the evidence and submitted this evidence for additional, more advanced DNA testing from when it first occurred. There were several rounds of testing that were done in this case, and on the third round of testing, a full DNA profile from a male was obtained and uploaded into the National CODIS database, where a match for a sex offender of Alfonso Owens was found. In Lieutenant Dowling's original investigation, he had linked this case to a possible stranger case in Prince George's County, Maryland, and that was the rape of very similar circumstances of a 10-year-old child. That happened on September 26, 2011. The DNA in the Maryland case was compared to the National CODIS database, and originally there was no match. However, Prince George's County Police Forensic Science Division reevaluated the case and entered the profile into Maryland State database, which yielded a hit to a Baltimore, Maryland rape case that was committed by Owens in 2015. Additional investigation led to the indictment of the suspect, Alfonso Owens. He was presented today in D.C. Superior Court on these charges. He was charged with 3 counts of first-degree sex abuse with aggravating circumstances and 3 counts of first-degree child sex abuse with aggravating circumstances. He is currently serving 2 life sentences plus 25 years in the North Branch Correctional Institute in Cumberland, Maryland for a 2015 Baltimore rape case. We would like to thank the United States Attorney's Office, the Department of Forensic Science, Prince George's County Police Department, and the MPD Sexual Assault Cold Case Unit professional staff for their hard work and dedication in this case. MPD would like to ensure our community that we will never stop in our efforts to bring justice for survivors of sexual assaults and will not rest in our efforts to apprehend those responsible. Any person who has information on this crime or any other crime can contact us at 202-727-9099 or text us at 50411. And I can take any questions now.
Captain, based on the law, his DNA would have had to have been taken once he got to prison, correct? In Maryland?
Correct. I'm not sure exactly what the time frame there is, but most convicted felons are there. It is taken at that time.
Was there some kind of a delay in getting that DNA into CODIS that you may be aware of?
I don't want to get into a lot of the details of the investigation because it's still ongoing and the case is pending, but it was the persistence of Detective McBean that kind of made sure that the match came about.
Well, let me ask you this way. So yesterday I did a story here in D.C. where you guys connected 2 long-ago murders from the 80s because they went and checked the stem of the swab that was used to collect in the sex kit and got the DNA from the stem of the swab. Was this a similar situation where you went deeper into the sex kit to try and find a full profile?
Again, I'm not going to talk about the very specifics, but it was the persistence of the continued evaluation of the evidence from the original case that eventually did yield a good profile.
I'm still a little confused. So was there a full profile originally from the 2000?
Partial. There was a partial originally, and then with continued testing recently, we did several rounds of that testing, which would have been either different items or additional items. And in the third round of that testing, we obtained a full profile. And that's where we got our CODIS match.
That was recently.
Yes, within the last year.
Gotcha. And then it was put into CODIS and a match was made.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Christy? Could we hear from one of the detectives? Cold case solved. Come on. What are you thinking? What's on your mind? How are you feeling?
Scott?
And spell your name, please.
Sure. My name is Scott, S-C-O-T-T, Dowling, D-O-W-L-I-N-G. I'm thrilled. Like the commander said, we've been working on this case off and on for 11 years. And to have some work I did in 2011 come to fruition is outstanding. I couldn't be happier. For the victim, particularly.
What does it say, though, about the advancements in DNA now, where you can get a full profile from such a small amount of DNA? Like I said, this case that I did yesterday was from the stem of the swamp.
I mean, the technology has gotten markedly better. It's the only reason that this case closed. It's just because you can multiply or magnify the samples so much more than you could in 2011.
So potentially, what you had in 2011 wasn't going to close the case, but the advancements in it did?
Definitively, it didn't close the case in 2011. It wasn't CODIS eligible. It didn't have enough. It was a small partial sample. That's why it went to cold case, because we didn't have a good enough sample.
Thank you.
Alex?
Anybody?
All right, guys, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, he was about to talk. Come on. Come on.
And
Mike.
spell your name, please.
First name is Alex, Alexander, Alex for short, I guess. Last name MacBean, M-A-C, capital B-E-A-N. Not much to say except that this is a powerful closure for the district. This was a very violent rape of 2 young children, and without the cooperative efforts of both jurisdiction working together over time, we weren't able to solve this. So it's a great closure for the district and for PG County as well, and just shows all the hard work that both departments are doing to show our dedication to solving these open cases and getting closure for them, as well as justice for the jurisdictions. So.
We know that from you guys, one of the things that you enjoy most is being able to tell a family member that you've made a closure. Who made that notification? What was that like?
It was powerful, but I'm not going to get into any more about that than that. So, but a very powerful moment. Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.